the difference between birth certificates and certificate of live birth, or like I said, if you're looking at Florida, it's the apostille certificate. For most purposes of identification, people use the birth certificate as the original document. And I think it's interesting, as the original document means you think that it's not the original document, and the person who wrote this knows that. All right. But some have recently heard about something called the certificate of live birth. What is the difference between the birth certificate and certificate of live birth? Here we go. Hospital record of birth. Certificate of live birth. The medical community has established the practice of issuing the certificate of live birth when a human being enters the world. I want to show you this, right? Issuing. Check this out. Copy. Post. I spent all day trying to. There's that. I want to use this one here. No, I don't. Where was it? You have issuing a bank. What is this? The bank that issues the second letter of credit and back-to-back letter of credit. I don't think that's what we're looking for. I don't just say issuing. That's weird. The term used when a right is signed and perfected by a sheriff. Hold on, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's try this. Issued. Yeah. What is issued and outstanding? When a character authorizes the sale of a corporation's stock. That's there you go. So get back to the birth certificate, right? So the hospital is issuing with stocks, it seems, when it's saying this. It has something to do with creating a stock or that can later be used on the market. That's how I see it. And then there's human, but you already know how I feel about that. There's man, there's women, there's human. Something else mixed itself into or fused itself into the man and woman into this world. This form will include the basis of the baby name, which when I was reading Black Christian codes, names, the word names are used to describe Christian property. Titles are what we as individuals who govern ourselves should have, from what I gather. Parents' names, doctors' names, hospital, sex, race, which I think is, I don't like the term sex because, you know, they put male, female, you know, and we're not male or female, those are animals, right? And race, well, that should be done away with because race indicates that we're still going off of systems of racism, which, I mean, don't Europeans or Anglo-Americans, don't they always try to tell you it's not about racism? So why haven't we done away with the term race, you know? They always try to say, oh, we're just all Americans. Well, your forms and paperwork still doesn't say you're all Americans. It says that we're classified and chopped into races. I mean, they don't say, oh, you know, what do they say? They say, oh, blacks commit, 70% of America's crimes when they're only 15% of the population. They don't say, oh, Americans commit 70%, Americans in general will commit 70% of the crime. They say blacks, right? Which, I mean, I still don't gather that date, date of birth, and the person completing the record. Health care officials will then enter the information into their hospital database. At this point, the father should verify that the information on the form is correct. Mistakes can be made on the original form or during medical entry. The mother will, of course, be stressed and won't be able to concentrate when given the form, when given the contract, you mean, right? Let's see. Corrections should be made before the birth certificate is officially issued. And we've seen issued. What was it? Just one more time, just so I don't speak out of turn. Come on. Here we go. And there it is. When the character authorizes the sale of a corporation's stock. So right at your child's birth, at all our children's birth, before this, we were complicit in helping them sell our children to the stock market, right, to be traded around on the stock exchange. So let's see. That's done. Oh, wait, yeah, register. That's what I was gonna look up. What was register? Don't need that no more. Birth certificate. Don't think I need that. Go back here. What was it? Oh, this is what I was reading here. The certificate of live birth is the first unofficial draft of the fact that your mother gave birth to you. Once this information is completed, the certificate of live birth is sent to the Office of Vital Statistics and State Registry to create the online birth certificate. And then, yeah, like I said, here we go. We look up registry. Like I said, I just don't want to spend time trying to spell this thing, so take the easy way, right? And then let's see, definition of register. The right which a king has by, let's see, which means by authority of or because of. Let me see here. Virtue. It took me a little while. I just had to see it broken down, right? Let's see. Let's go back here. What is by virtue of? The means of authority of or because of. So you gotta bear with me. What is registry? Rights which a king has by virtue of his prerogative. Oh man, I murdered those last two. Prerogative. So, I mean, they always tell us that if you're, I'm not saying you're sovereigns anymore, but when you're ruling over yourself, you have the right to, right? You say you're governing yourself and that you don't want to be governed by this form of corporations, then you have the right to govern yourself, and therefore you have the right to register things to you. That's how I see that. I could be way off, but let's see here. I don't think I need that. Oh, that's what it was. I was looking up denote. What did denote mean? And it was another way of pointing out the ownership. Let me see if I can pick it up here. The term is probably used in this sense to denote. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what I was looking up denote. And that's the definition. I don't need that no more. Don't need that anymore. No, just looking at government bonds and stuff like that, but that has nothing to do with this one, except for the fact that the birth certificate, then, yeah, I guess it does, because the birth certificate is a government bond, isn't it? So, but that's it, everybody.